So I'm going to be drawing with Russell. I'm going to be drawing with Russell shortly. And if the pterodactyls shut up, I will be able to go outside and draw the pretty trees and flowers, unlike my usual drawings of back alleys or naked men. Okay, I'm broadcasting, I guess. And I don't know if Russell is watching me yet. Everything, this iPad I dropped in the lake. So consequently, it's really slow. So how much juice do I have on this one? 48%. Well, why aren't you... Hey. Hi there, Will. I know that I have a book I need to send you, the challenge drawing book, but it's just, I never think about it. I don't have a car to go to the post office, but maybe I'll send it to you this next weekend, because I will be in a car going to Duluth to meet a Finnish artist. Oh, with Kesh? Yeah. It was nice that we caught up on his birthday and the anniversary of he and I meeting, and it was fun when his friend came in as well. I'll get back to doing pen things when I get back to Boston. I've barely picked up a pen, but last night I had one at the restaurant I was eating at, and the guy next to me was a pen collector. He said he has about 20 pens, and they're all, I think, modern things he bought at a store, Mont Blanc and things like that. So, but he tried out an old pen I had, and he was amazed at how flexible it was. So, and he owns the restaurant, so maybe I can see him again. Okay. Russell just went inside to get some supplies, and I'm using my phone to broadcast, so it's easy. I'm going to just hand hold it, so my drawing might be very jiggly, but we will find out. So one of the things that I've been doing here with my brothers is fixing this deck, replacing a deck with a brand new deck. So we're almost done. We have 3 more pieces of wood to put down, and then we can decide whether we want to have where the steps will go and how big they will be. But we're having steps off of that edge, and we're having steps here. And those were the steps that really long, wide steps. But I don't think we need to build them that long. And in this corner here, we are not having a railing. We don't need a railing because it's less than 30 inches off the ground. So we can avoid it. We don't even need it here on that side, but it sort of implies maybe a little bit of privacy. Not much, but I think, we are going to put a grill barbecue thing over there, so it'll disguise that. So I've been doing some chunky dunking. Chunky dunking is what someone that looks like me does when they're supposed to be skinny dipping. My nephew said, Pierre, you weren't skinny dipping, you were chunky dunking. And I said, okay. So yes, this is the family cabin and the family lake that we share with other families on the lake. But the cabin we've had since 1972. But I've been coming up here since essentially since 1962. So it's a lovely place to be. And so I may end up having to go inside where it's a little easier for me to see the screen. I'm in the shade here, so there you are, Russell. So let me see how I can add you. Now, how do I paste it? How do I write? God damn it. I'm trying to figure out how to write it. Post comment. Come on, paste. The hell do I have to do that? Paste. Done. Okay. See if that works. And then I don't know why that is there. Why is that? Yeah, I've been coming here since I was 7 or so. And my father was here when he was 7 years old at a cabin that his mother owned. But there was a time when she sold the place before we started coming back up again. So it's been in the family for a while. Okay, guests. Russell. Add. I think you're added. You are added.
Am I on?
You're on. You're on.
Okay.
And I don't know why this thing, I can't get rid of this. How do I get rid of that thing? I know how to get other people, but how do I make mine go away? Let me see if I can do the layout thing. There, done. How do I make this go away without getting you hide current comment? There we go. So your house looks very palatial.
Or at least it does from this angle.
Well, those big white columns.
Yeah, they tend to do that.
Yeah, they tend to make things look big and white. So, perfect. I'll try to move back so that there we go. So I'm using my iPad and my pencil, and I'm going to draw essentially this scene, sort of a close-up of that. And I'm just going to start in. You can.
I'm not too certain how to start here because right now I'm holding my phone up with my hand.
Okay.
And I don't know how to get it so that it'll stay put on.
Well, if you're holding it roughly, and you can hold it still enough, you don't need to deal with the tripod bullshit.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But and again, if it jiggles a little bit, and I'm using my phone to broadcast with, so it's working for me at least.
So I'll just start.
You just start. So most of the things I've been drawing up here have been of men without any clothes.
Right.
And including a lot of selfies, which you saw and you were not offended by, which was very sweet of you not to be offended by. But it's been fun. Drawing one's self gives you, I know there's all this stuff that people do these days called body positive awareness thing.
Right.
And, people who think they're too fat or too gray or too skinny or too whatever are somehow learn to think differently of themselves. And by drawing oneself, by drawing selfies, it sort of has helped me in my quest for feeling good about myself.
Well, that's good. I mean, I think that it gives you a clear perspective on, what things actually are, what things actually look like, right?
Yeah.
Because usually you're seeing yourself and all other things through a sort of filter.
Yeah. And the filter usually involves seeing and being told how beautiful people like Tom Cruise is, right, or whatever it is that whoever is, on the Wheaties box this month, some buff athlete, and then everyone other than another buff athlete will feel inferior. So
they are inferior to buff athlete.
But you don't have to be a buff athlete.
No, if we were all buff athletes, who would be the not buff scientists?
Yes, or in the unbuff. So there's one guy that I watch on YouTube, and he is, my God, he is buff, and he's an astronomer named something or other. It'll come to me, and he always wears short sleeve shirts showing off his biceps.
Well, I mean, I suppose, if you've got the goods, why not show them?
Why not show the goods if you have them? But it's just interesting to see how people present themselves and how that can affect you and what you think of your own body.
Yeah.
So doing selfies, drawing selfies, and I'm the drawings that I sent you of me swimming. I was hardly swimming. Of me wading in the water. They're beautiful drawings, I think. And
yeah,
they uh, they I'm still overweight and I'm still everything else, but if you squint and you look a little bit one way or the other, you kind of look kind of neat. You're kind of hot or
Yeah.
something, or not hot or not. You're either hot or you're not hot. I don't know. And
I
I'm not.
don't think I don't think that such binaries in terms of attractiveness necessarily exist.
Yeah.
But I think there's just certain what's the word I'm looking for, standards of taste that have just become so widely accepted that people often adhere to them without thinking about without or try to adhere to them without thinking about what the alternatives might be,
Yes.
what
Yeah. You could just.
what is good about other things,
Yeah.
right? it's
There's.
sort of it's sort of like saying because French cuisine is one of the best in the world, that means we should only eat French cuisine,
Yes.
right?
So much for sauerbraten.
Yeah, so much for sauerbraten or Chinese food.
Yes.
Since they are not French, they are not good food.
Yes. Um, I I I get into big arguments with people from Prager University uh, Instagram accounts because they're all just so.
Yeah, they're all very very people. They're people that are looking up their own asses most of the time. To be frank,
Well, but they don't know they're doing that. They're just, they think that there's
they have
so
bought so much into their own. Anyway, you go ahead because
well we'll get back to your opinion of them, but one of them was talk. I don't know what the original thread was, but it was all about um, uh, how women are supposed to be cooking for men and being in the kitchen. And uh, I, of course, took offense at that. Women can do other things other than cook. And why should they have to cook anyway for a man? Um, anyway, this one guy said how fat his neighbor's wife was, and and well, she doesn't have to be skinny for you.
yeah, it's like that's your neighbor's wife. What
Yeah.
business is yours? Unless you've got something that you have to explain to your own wife.
Yes.
In that case, and in that case, you have no business calling her fat because you're
Anyway,
you're already jumping on those those well endowed bones.
yes, they're the um, and I said, what business is it of yours? Whether you're, well, my neighbor doesn't. I said, maybe your neighbor likes her that way, and maybe more importantly, maybe she likes it that way. And uh, oh, he thinks she's fat too. Well, maybe he likes fat. You're not listening to me. Uh, and even if
And
he hated,
if
even if he hated fat, it's up to her.
yeah.
And also she also wore clothes that looked like she was wearing men's clothes. So now there's those.
So what are men's clothes in this case? Pants and a shirt.
I don't know.
Because I mean that's the only
About
that's
the only thing that only men wear is sort of a jock strap, maybe.
well maybe she was wearing a tuxedo or a suit and tie.
I don't
In
know.
this case, more power to her. I'm all for the cabaret thing.
Yeah. Well, the anyway, one of the Prager University things was something about schools these days teaching in sex class, whenever that was. And when I was in school, we had it in, I think it was 6th grade. I think I remember the teacher. And so people were saying, how you can't teach this, and people are confused. You can't teach transgender, and you can't do this. So I was getting on my high horse and saying, had I learned at that age that there was such a thing called homosexuality, I would not have suffered so much in my growing up. And,
right. You would have known what was going on and not thought, okay, there's something wrong with me.
There's something wrong with me. And anyway, this woman was saying, one particular woman was saying, no, that's you can't tell kids that, because, and then she said, you teach it in science class and you teach it scientifically. And I said, well, why can't they mention that sex is fun? It's not just for making babies. No, that you can't tell them that. Okay. Well, okay. What can you tell them this? No, you can't tell them that. You have to say that it's a sex is.
You have to say that sex act is so that you can give the gametes to the fetus,
Yes.
and make sure they're either an XX or an XY.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's the only way. You can't say, okay, this is how you be safe while you're having sex, or
Yeah.
you can't say,
no, you're not going to get in. Anyway, this woman said the only way to teach it is that sex is between a man and a woman in a loving, safe relationship. Well, no.
not always.
And I said,
because whoever her husband really is probably feeling very unsafe most of the time.
Anyway, she said, so anyway, I was saying, the sperm and the egg. I said, if you're not going to let people know that homosexuality is out there, or bisexuality, or something like that, if it's only about the science, you don't, leave out that caring family bullshit.
Yeah, like,
the egg doesn't know.
Science says nothing about love or about man and a woman. In fact, science would most anthropology would probably show that marriage and monogamy is a fairly recent institution.
Yeah. And so anyway, I remembered now when I was thinking back to that day in school when I was entirely confused. I had no idea what she was saying. I knew that babies happened somehow, but she didn't enlighten me one bit. She said, when a man touches a woman, then she gets pregnant, and 9 months later she has a kid. Well, I didn't know what touch meant, but there was a girl next to me in the lunch line, and I accidentally bumped into her, and I thought, is she now pregnant with my baby? So I would think. And I also said, what about all the diseases you can get? She said, it's like teaching kids about drugs. You say that you can't do it. Well, no, that's not correct. If I was teaching kids about the dangers of drugs, I'm sure one of them would say, well, if it's so dangerous, why do people do it? And you could be truthful, and you could say, oh, they, or you could lie. You could say, oh, they like being criminals, and they want to do this because they enjoy being a criminal, breaking the law. Well, that's not the right answer.
Well, I think she's come to a strange conclusion by trying to equate sex with drugs.
Well, it was about teaching kids about the dangers of drugs and not to take them, which I think might be, a valuable thing to learn when you're in grade school, but it also might require them to answer lots of questions. Like, I take a drug, I take insulin. Is that bad? Well, no. Well, my mommy takes Benadryl. Is that bad? Or whatever. And so there's gray areas everywhere on these fucking things.
It's like it's sort of like they'll complain about drug use and all that, but there are still medical uses for amphetamines, for example.
Yeah. But the teacher could also say, people take drugs because they feel that they are having a different vision of reality or something, whatever a generic thing would be.
People who are looking for a spiritual experience from it, and then there are some people who are simply looking for any type of escape from their
pathetic life.
Yeah.
But again, that
some
might
just want to listen to people who want to tell them how to conduct sex ed and drug classes.
Well, it's frustrating because they say horrible things about, and then when I say, well, I'm a gay man and I've never harmed a woman in my life. Oh, you're a man, so and you just sleep around. You don't care what the woman. I said, well, no, I don't care what the women, because I don't sleep with them. I might sleep with a woman's husband. I've done that a couple of times, but I've never, purposely harmed anyone that was a dame. So,
it's ridiculous, but they're looking for scapegoats.
Yeah.
Not so much the people who are following these Instagram pages as the people who are using those Instagram pages to indoctrinate them.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of this is not really to do anything. It's just to create a new enemy so that they can find some new way of saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's another one was, should you be able to protest in front of a private residence? Oh no, they should be shot.
Okay. Then what about the people who were put in front of dropped off at Martha's Vineyard in protest? What seemed to me to be protest of the immigration. They should be shot, right? Because they were technically participating in a Republican protest.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just listening to or reading what they say, and I would say, chances are, Mister.
What about the people protesting outside the abortion clinic? Oh wait,
yeah,
those are private. Those are private. They're not owned by the state.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned that too.
Actually, I'm wrong. Never mind. Scratch that one. My argument's moot.
Yeah. I said, chances are the people that are protesting, let's say, who's that guy, Alex? What's his name, that was denying all of the Sandy Hook shootings?
Oh, Alex Jones.
So let's say someone knew what rock he lived under, put up a protest there. Clearly he's spreading lies. He's harming people. He's causing people to believe what he's saying, and they are harming and annoying these poor grieving parents. But anyway, I said, chances are the person who's protesting in front of a private residence, their rights are being threatened or taken away or not allowed by the people that are in that goddamn house.
Yeah.
So chances are I might be making a noise and holding up a sign outside your property, but what are you doing to me and my body and my, whatever other.
The catch is these people are the type of people who would own private residences in the first place, right?
Yes, yes.
They are homeowners. They're people who want to see the police be used for what the police are used for, which is to protect private property.
Yeah.
And
anyway, it's
so,
just
the PragerU whole thing is mainly for evangelicals who have all lost their minds.
yes. But there are a couple of people that agree with what I say or agree with part of what I say. But they don't, I mean, not that I think about things a lot, but, I just point out, well, what about this? Or what about that? You're forgetting this whole set of people in your statement. And, oh, you're just a man and you sleep around. Well, I'm a man, I sleep around, but I don't sleep around with you.
Yeah.
Or people of your sex. So
it's sort of a you're flattering yourself, honey.
Yes. Yes. Don't flatter yourself. It is merely hanging out. You know that joke?
I don't think I've heard it.
It's attributed to Oscar Wilde, which of course means it probably never happened. But he's leaving some sort of brothel or bar or something, and staggering down the street, and this carriage comes to a screeching halt, and this woman opens the window and says, Mr. Wilde, you're drunk and you're disheveled and you're walking down the street. Your penis is sticking out of your pants. Oscar Wilde says, don't flatter yourself, madam. It is merely hanging out. So, ba-bum.
Very, very astute observation from Mr. Wilde.
So can you hold up or put your camera closer to the picture so I can see what you're doing? Oh,
yes, sort of going at it.
An urn with a potted
thing. I don't know plants. I only know what I get at the grocery store, and even then, I hardly know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now what am I going to draw? We're getting a nice south wind suddenly.
Is the south wind nice?
The south wind is nice. Ach, liebe Südwind, blase nach, ich nimmer verlangt zu dir. Ach, liebe Südwind, oh dear south wind, blow stronger. My maiden awaits for me. Meine Mädel verlangt nach mir. See, it's that kind of wind. Yo, oh, yo, hello, hey. So I tried to take the iPad out to do drawings on the pontoon boat, but it's very hard to draw on these things with the sun hitting the screen. You can't see a thing.
Yeah.
So I try to draw these images I'm drawing while I'm inside.
Yeah, that's the only frustrating thing with the
I could do something in black and white, or maybe a dark color and a light color, but it's this drawing is ugly. We're just going to start over. I'm going to go inside and draw where I can see what I'm doing. I've wanted to draw the shadow of that house for a long time. You see where it's
Oh yeah, where it's extending outwards.
yeah, and it's just, you know, all of these blotchy shadows, and then there's this stealth bomber shadow, angular shadow coming out. Okay, so I'm going to draw from this angle, so it'll be an interior shot. So you don't want to see my foot. There we go.
There's a certain audience that would
like to see my foot. Yeah,
but you know, you don't do that unless they pay.
They have to pay for that
They
experience.
have to pay for that one.
Yeah, you're a foot person. I know exactly what you need to do and what you want to see.
For all you foot people out there, my OnlyFans is
Yes, my phone is lickmytoes.com.
yes. Fungus Master 389.
Yes.
For some reason, whenever I'm on YouTube now, for a while it was a lot more prominent, but I'll still occasionally get them. But there will be these weird commercials with computerized voices trying to convince me to buy one herbal or whatever solution to foot fungus.
Yes. Try this at home.
Try this at home. What if I told you there was one natural way to get foot fungus? This doctor has been promoting this for, and it's like, I guess whatever I'm doing on YouTube has them convinced that I have foot fungus and I'm desperate to get rid of it.
Rather than keeping it and growing it and making a salad out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the more ecological thing to do, I expect, and economical.
Yes. You don't have to go to the grocery store to buy the foot fungus anymore. You can just grow it yourself, homegrown. What did they call it? The free range foot fungus.
Yes. Yeah, I used to have a guy I went to for that, but you know, he just he got into overproduction, and I guess he got gangrene. And
yes. Oh my God, what we talk about, Mister.
I wonder if one had gout, would foot fungus grow more easily?
That's
a strange question, right?
Alexa, if I had foot fungus, would I get gangrene more easily?
From verywellhealth.com. When you don't address toenail fungus early, it can develop into a more severe infection, which may result in leaving the toenail with fungus, loss of the toenail, or pain.
Did you hear that?
No, I did not. What information about gangrene and feet did Amazon provide you there?
It's essentially said that if you don't pay attention to foot fungus, you could get various more serious things. She didn't mention gangrene particularly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was just making that up entirely because I only am aware of the fact that gangrene rots one's flesh. So, you know.
Yes. Well, I don't know exactly what the answer would be, but Neither did she. But the reason I'm paying $9, soon to be $20 a month to YouTube is because of Prager University. Their ads would come up all the time,
Oh,
and I
yes.
was so sick to death of them. And now they're showing up in my Instagram feed.
Well,
Before I started bitching about them. So
yeah.
now I imagine I'm stuck with them forever. But they started it,
Yeah, I mean that's
So
the thing. When the YouTube algorithm or the Instagram algorithm, they don't understand that you're contesting against these people and that you really hate their arguments. It just says, "Oh, this person's going to PragerU's Instagram page or PragerU's YouTube comments and leaving comments. I guess I better encourage them to go there."
yes,
It's sort of like I'll have a certain type of video that will show up on my YouTube feed, and then just one will show up randomly about a certain subject. It's a meme that somebody posts on YouTube, and I just sort of let it play as I'm scrolling along.
yeah,
And then I start getting more recommendations for that exact same type of thing.
yeah.
And my feed is messed up forever.
Well, it'll match up with your messed up feet.
Yes.
Your feed and your feet both are forever doomed.
Both are forever marked by an out of control growth.
Yes. So when are you going to go back to school?
I have to be back by about August 21st, so probably sometime before then. I'm not entirely sure when, but not too long from now.
Okay. Well, I haven't made my plans to go back to Minneapolis or to Boston yet. I'll probably leave here and go to Minneapolis for a week, or part of a week, maybe. I don't, and then I'll end up going back to Boston. I haven't yet really seen many of my usual pals that I see, and I'd like to see them, I think, before I go.
Be good to catch up with the people in the area.
Yeah. But that doesn't have a red. I don't know what color it doesn't have. In the corner here of the house is a fishing pole, so I'm working on drawing that.
Trying to think what might be in the news or what's interesting that might have happened. The only thing that's really interesting is that my older brother is soon going to be moving to his new apartment, which means that I have to help him move into a new apartment.
I see. And where will that be?
Oh, it'll be like in the same apartment complex. He's just moving to a bigger one.
I see. Does he have lots of heavy things?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh dear.
He got this this gigantic desk that's pure wood, and because somebody offered it to him basically for free,
Uh-huh.
and now it's very difficult to carry.
Okay.
Last time we moved him, we hired movers, but I'm not so certain they're planning on doing the same thing now. since literally it's a 5-minute drive from one apartment building to the next.
I see. Well,
But you know,
you're a good brother.
yeah, that's what I'll have to use to put myself to sleep at night. Okay, I was worried there for a second. I thought I had somehow mistakenly started drawing on the back of the
Something
back.
important.
Yeah. You know, at a certain point, I learned that one of these companies was making a vegan cottage cheese,
Okay.
and
Uh,
I was rather intrigued because you know cottage cheese is one of the things that I don't tend to eat since you know I eat vegan most of the time,
so
and I don't think they carry it anymore. You
and
know,
so cow milk products you don't eat.
no, I don't. I try not to do dairy, and I try not to do eggs. You know, if it's a question of you know starving, then no, then I'll have to make that sacrifice. But otherwise, you know, if I have as long as I have the choice, I'm going to choose vegan. Be pragmatic about it.
Good. Can I see your drawing again up close? So you've got your columns
Yep.
of your stately home.
Yes, of the country home. Yes, our Jeffersonian residence.
And you have slaves in the basement that you impregnate. I
Well,
know.
we used to, but we decided that that we would get rid of them.
I see.
We did the ethical thing and sold them.
I see. Good. Good.
Um, you know, the man had like secret passageways in his house so that he didn't have to look at his slaves.
Yeah. Will wants to know. Oh, Cedar. Cedar and Will are. Cedar says hi, and Will. The hairy belly button he mentioned. Will did. Sorry about that, Will. Uh, but I am wearing pants. Um, Cedar. Anyway, what type of pen are you using, Russell? Says Will Hodge.
So this I picked up a while ago. It's a gel pen. It's called the Sakura Jelly Roll. I rather like it because it produces a uniform line and it's not like a ballpoint pen. It doesn't have that weird waxy feel to it.
Okay. Everyone watch how Russell holds the pen, you sort of hold it like a Japanese ink calligrapher would hold a pen, a brush, a brush.
So, I'm not too certain.
But you're holding it very vertically.
Yeah.
Compared to how you, I mean, you hold a fountain pen that way too.
Unfortunately, that is not the way one should hold a fountain pen.
Well, you just have to be extra careful. I think the more vertical you hold it, the more likely it is to drop ink, blob ink down.
Yeah, but I don't know. I do know how I got to this because I got the advice, try not to hold your pencil at the tip right there because it'll just restrict you.
Your eyesight, yeah, you have to move it back. I mean, there are.
And really, I'll still hold it by the tip in certain situations,
Yeah.
That's what I say to all of the ladies I meet. But
I'm just.
yes,
If you counted on one hand how many ladies you meet, how many fingers would you be using holding up?
it depends on what time span we're talking about.
Your entire life.
Okay, and how do you define meet?
Well, how would you define? You sort of defined it by the comment you would make to the
so
lady.
I was referring to moments, when I'm standing in line behind women in the grocery store.
I see.
I'll just refer to these things so that I can get further ahead in line.
Or you hear you hear on the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
A bill. Section register 2 needs assistance. Whatever code they use for some crazy person.
Yes. No, but I mean, so far it's worked out quite marvelous for me. I've never had ice cream melt on the way home.
Okay, good for you. Well, maybe I should try that trick.
I mean, it might confirm all of the terrible things that those PragerU women are saying about you, but
So what do I say again? I always hold mine by the tip.
Yes, sometimes I hold mine by the tip, but not all the time.
Okay.
No, it refers back to pencils and pens. It really just it's really more or less determined by honestly how far I want to reach on the paper. Because right now I'm trying to get to a farther away spot, and it just wouldn't work out. I couldn't see everything.
Yes. It all depends, madam, on how far I want to go into the page.
Right. It depends on how far I want to take things.
I see.
It's a matter of reaching the right spot.
Yes. Hitting the right spot. Okay, now I'm sure that there's all sorts of people. Russell, you cad, says Will.
I don't understand why he's calling me a cad. I've never ported around golf clubs once in my life.
I see. So you're never caddy.
No, I'm never caddy. I'm always one stroke short of a birdie.
Okay. Fuck.
You can take that however you want to.
Oh, I'll take it the way I want to, and that's where it will be. Okay, so
just buried deep within our brains for now.
For now.
Yes. I mean, Freud always said there will be the return of the repressed.
Did he always
And
say that?
And if anybody knew anything about, repression, it was Freud.
It was good old Siggy.
Siggy, yeah. Siggy Stardust. Or Siggy Motherlust in this case, I suppose. I'm glad your channel isn't monetized because I would immediately ruin that for you, I think.
No, I'm not monetized.
Yeah.
And the reason it's Prager, would have all these horrible ads. And then, so I'm paying that to get those. But now the content providers are doing their own ads.
Oh,
They
yes.
talk about how, this piece of jewelry is made their life better, and it's beautifully done, and I could all these different collections, and it's like you're supposed to be talking about ocean liners. I don't need to know about your personal jewelry that you use.
I was really enjoying this video until you started talking about this company that promised that they could help me escape from advertisements like the one you're showing me right now.
Yes.
Because the ones that I tend to see most either tend to be the VPNs or this new one called Incogni.
Okay.
And Incogni is basically like this service where they'll apparently, according to them, will go onto these call lists and basically delete you from all of the lists that these phone caller scammers use to call you, right? Where they'll call you and tell you that you have free credit or whatever.
Yes.
Stuff like that, as from what I gather. The worst one is Masterworks.
What does that one do?
So Masterworks is a website where you can join in with a group of people to buy artwork.
Oh, yes. I know that one.
But and you don't buy the artwork because you want the artwork. You buy it and literally you buy it so that they can sell it later, and act like it's an investment. And it's like, this is the exact toxic behavior that we hate in the art world, and you are literally telling people that this is the best way to use art.
Yes. So I'm drawing, we have a lamp base made of an old Russian samovar. And so that's what I'm drawing here. My whatever it is, devices are now saying low power. So maybe we should stop while we're ahead. And I'll plug the phone back in, and I guess I can do that, but this is going to go away. So why don't can we do this again sometime?
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know when, but we'll do it sometime. So goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, Will. Cedar was on here too before. Maybe I can do it when the three of us could draw together, Cedar and you and I.
Sure.
But we can draw really long, skinny things that we can hold by the tip.
Sounds like a plan.
Because we'll be divided into three.
So we'll be drawing straws.
We'll be drawing straws. God damn you. Have I proposed to you yet again today? I haven't. But
not today, but you still can't have my teeth.
I'll let you keep your teeth.
I honestly don't know where those teeth went. I was very disappointed to find that I had lost my teeth.
Okay, well, very good. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.